Hey everybody, this is So Many Sequels. I'm Josh.
I'm Andrew.
I'm Garrett.
And I'm David.
And today on the show, we have a special, not so special episode in a way. It's not special because it's a standard Monday episode. But it is special because we decided to do something different this time. And with it being an election year and it being election week, we thought we would do an election-themed episode. But not in the scary way. I know a lot of people are like, I don't want to hear about any election stuff right now. It's not going to be that, I promise.
Hope not.
This will be, it shouldn't be.
It shouldn't.
It should be a pretty.
I'm here to mess some stuff up, guys.
It should be pretty zero to low politics mentioned in here. But we're gonna do a review of The American President.
Yay!
The 1994 film written by Aaron Sorkin, directed by Rob Reiner, starring Michael Douglas as the president, and Annette Bening, Martin Sheen, Michael J. Fox.
Again.
I lost his name. The bad guy.
Richard Dreyfuss.
Richard Dreyfuss. Really great cast. Fun movie, kind of a precursor to Aaron Sorkin's work on The West Wing.
Mm-hmm.
And just kind of like a classic rom-com. In my research about this movie, I found that it is, let me make sure I got it right. Yes. The American Film Institute ranked it as number 75 on its list of America's greatest love stories. And it was nominated for Best Original Music at the Academy Awards and Best Director, Screenplay, and Actor for Michael Douglas, Actress for Annette Bening, and Best Comedy Musical at the Golden Globes.
Wow.
What a
Didn't win
contrast.
any of those, though.
What?
It didn't win any of those, though.
It did not win any of those, but it did get nominated, and it is AFI's 75th Best American Love Story.
That's such a contrast because, got all these Golden Globe nominations. You would have thought it would have been a shoo-in, and then
I know. Well, and the Golden Globes are always weird. We talk about them every year, and it's like because it's Best Drama or Best Comedy Musical.
Yeah,
and it's like The American President is not a musical.
No,
and not funny, but is it a comedy?
I mean, not in the sense that you.
No, it's like a dramedy.
Not
in a sense that it's technically a romantic comedy.
Right. It is, like I said, it is funny. It has genuine laugh moments.
As we get started here, Josh, do you want to pull up what else it was nominated against in Best Original Comedy?
Sure.
Best Comedy Musical.
While I do that, who wants to give first impressions of the movie?
Yeah, I'll start off. This is my first time seeing this. I have watched a little bit of The West Wing, not a lot. I've seen the first 4 or 5 episodes and a couple of later season episodes. But I feel like in general, I would say the writing here is really good. It's really charming. There's a lot of fun White House energy that you would get a lot later in that show. Michael J. Fox is particularly fun. He's very much the drama version of his Spin City character, and that's a lot of fun. I thought Michael Douglas was super charming. He was really cool. Annette Bening came across as really natural and fun. But it's not to say, but I will say it's not partisan in any way. It's not like there's no politics at all in it, and it's just kind of a nice fun rom-com. There's some serious stuff in there. They get into some real conversations and situations. And it poses an interesting question of a bachelor president and or a single president who starts dating. I think it's a fun what if scenario that we really haven't had in the modern age, and I think that it's well directed and well written, and I would recommend it if you haven't seen it before.
I'll go next.
Okay.
I really enjoyed this movie, and I really enjoy anything by Aaron Sorkin. If it's got Aaron Sorkin's name on it, I'll watch it. I love how they marry the political drama and the romantic comedy. And if you associate any movie with politics, I feel like I feel like people step away from that. I feel like political movies are like a lot of people don't like political movies because they think they're boring. Like it's just a bunch of talking and whatnot. But like you get something of a rarity. It's like it's like the dialogue is very engaging, and the dialogue is very engaging. The characters are very rich. I love the character development in this movie, and I loved Annette Bening in this. She was great. I will s- I will say that like there are times when it does get it's like runs on a little bit, but almost it doesn't run on too much, I will say. But there are times, but like all in all, this is a solid effort, and it's very pleasing. And they need to do more movies like that, because there's not too often anymore where you get these types of movies anymore, because especially when it comes with politics, it's always like it always has to be some sort of a thriller. So to get a
But it's
comedy out
almost
of it,
always based on a true story.
and it's almost always based on a true
This
story.
is completely fictional.
Yeah. So it's nice film.
Okay.
Yeah, I always describe Sorkin dialogue as like two professional tennis players, not like playing a real game of tennis, but just really trying to see how long they can keep the ball going back and forth. It's just so smooth and equally given, and it feels so natural, and it just sucks you in. You don't have any idea what they're talking about in the policy range for the most part, but yet you do understand what's happening. And like you feel like, yeah, that's okay. I get this. This makes sense to me. And I think that's a really tough thing to do, because how easy it is to get politics to go over people's heads and be turned off by it. But that's why Sorkin is the way he is. He knows how to do that. I've never really seen any of the West Wing, so this was a fun look into what that could be. And yeah, everybody's performance was great. I don't really have anything else to say that hadn't already been touched on. It's really good.
Yeah. I really liked it a lot, and I really enjoy The West Wing as well. So I think that probably helped influence my feelings toward this movie. It feels very realistic for being not real, and the inner workings of the White House is typically something the average person would not really understand. Probably, you would hope, but they make it easy to digest, because you don't need to know the politics of what's going on, even though it is present. It's not like a hyper partisan type of politics. Like we have this focus on global warming in the beginning, with Annette Bening's character being a lobbyist for a organization trying to improve global warming in the planet, get the president to I think they're trying to reduce carbon dioxide emissions. Mm-hmm. Something that's you don't need to understand, but okay, I get it. I get what you're doing. That's okay, cool. And then the other political focus is this crime bill that the president is trying to get passed through Congress. And we don't know the details of it at all, ever. And you don't really need to understand what they're trying to do.
To understand,
the most explanation we get of the crime bill is really at the end, when he decides to throw it away in his big epic speech in the White House press briefing or press room, and declares what he really feels about it. That's the most political I feel like it ever got, and it's pretty brief. But you understand it, and I like that. And it allows the president to be a human being, which is also something I don't feel like you get a lot. It mostly, I feel like, shows him as a human and not as the president. And that's a key point with Shepard and Sydney, is he's always trying to talk to her will you ever be in a room with me and not see me as the president? So it's really cool to humanize the position like that. And Michael Douglas is so freaking charming in the role.
Yes.
He seems like such a nice, likable dude. and you can tell he just wants to be happy, like in his personal life, and he wants to do right by his daughter, and that's all great stuff. And Sydney is a pretty cool, likable person too. She's got the other end of the spectrum of this person who, professionally, this is a bad idea. She's a lobbyist. She's there to manipulate the president in a way, or to at least, coerce him into doing what they want. But she also is like, I like this guy. So they find a way to balance that real good, so that you like them both. And, every great rom-com has a falling out. And this one wasn't super harsh, I didn't feel like.
No.
You're still like, man, I get why they're falling out right now.
Yeah.
So all in all, I just think it's a really great story. I see why it's considered one of the great American love stories, as AFI words it. So, and I'm just gonna keep rambling here because I could feel like I got so much to say now, and people can just chime in.
You guys are just coming right off it, right?
Yeah, we just finished it. I really love the supporting cast. They are so good. Martin Sheen as the chief of staff and the president's best friend, the best man at the wedding. They have a lot of great moments. They have a really like interesting fight scene that I liked a lot. Michael J. Fox. Oh my gosh, considering that we just came off of a terrible Michael J. Fox movie a couple weeks ago, it was so nice to see him back in his element of being like this like frenetic,
this is
high energy, kind of like he's a little paranoid in this movie.
Yeah, this is 1 year before The Frighteners.
Yeah. It's like it's like
he looks like 5 years younger.
He does. And like
than he did in The Frighteners.
I don't know if that's the Parkinson's or what, but
yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was maybe there was an active effort to like, shave the
they might have aged him
a little bit.
Yeah, because he was kind of skeezy
edgy.
in the Frighteners.
But here he's like, he's like Michael P. Keaton all grown up here.
Yeah, it literally is like if Michael
parties.
P. Keaton switched parties, or if you merged Marty McFly and Alex P. Keaton, you'd probably get Louis Rothschild, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So they're so fun.
What did I say? Oh yeah,
they have a lot of good energy.
Yes,
it's a fun movie. It's a fun movie. Any other additions?
Oh, I think right there with you. Oh, I was just saying, I'm right there with you. I think the cast has a great chemistry. It feels like coming into it, the way it's written and the way this cast worked together, it feels like they've been like doing this for like 10 years. Like this is like they've been hanging out and doing this show together for a long time. They just finally decided to film it. Like it's that level of of just like repartee and speed and everybody's cool. Go ahead, Garrett. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, I think that this movie is an example of like a math problem in a perfect world scenario, because as much as I love the characters and everybody in it, they're very like perfect human-esque type people, because they're all so good at being able to find a balance between job and personal. And I don't know if the times have just changed or if that is just like perfectly balanced, because, Michael Douglas's president, whenever he had to bomb the Libyans, they were talking about like, oh, it was the most presidential thing. And then he was like, no, and went on this big giant speech about how it's the least presidential thing because he just made the decision to blow up an innocent janitor over there. And he did that several times where he was just able to really separate everything out. And a lot of people in this movie did that. And that is not a skill that most people have to that extreme of a level that everyone in this movie seemed to have had, which I enjoyed watching it. I think that's just the one maybe like minor knock you could give it, is that this is like the definition of a perfect world scenario.
It is, and that is that's the same way that the West Wing is kind of written. It is an idealistic society. But even if you take out the political nature of the movie, a lot of romantic comedies kind of fit that bill, where it's kind of this idealized world. So I think it's just the marriage of the two worked really well. Because I had the same thought in this movie that I have during the West Wing, which is I want to live in this world where everyone is reasonable and smart and they like figure things out. That's the world I want to live in.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely like you said. I mean, there's an element of it's a little there's an element of it's a little unrealistic. I think that Aaron Sorkin has a
Of
great.
course.
He taps into the like the energy of what you would assume the White House would be like, where it's just really frenetic and really like everybody's moving. They're in the most high stake job you can have. Everybody who has to work, in connection with the president must be doing things all the time, and like minutes mean everything. But
Mhm.
President Obama himself called it a Aaron Sorkin's liberal fantasy in talking about how exactly the movie works and how they go about getting votes on certain bills and things. So like there's an element of it that is kind of like the ideal of what you want, how you want politics to run. But that said, it really, you don't care as you're watching it because it is really everything else about it's really enjoyable.
Right.
You kind of feel like you're a part of it as it goes along. That's what
Yeah.
makes that turn, that fight, the ultimate fight that they have, really hurt. Because like when you realize, I think if you're like me, there's a moment about 1 minute before the decision is made where you go, he's gonna have to break his promise, and you just kills you to watch him have to do it. And it's a really it's a well structured at that point. It's a great way of doing a lot of the tropes you see in these kind of movies, but doing them in a setting that you're not used to seeing. So I really think that it stands out for that.
Yeah, it's kind of like we were saying earlier. It's so focused on the characters that you don't really care about the inner workings of how they're working to get the votes on this bill. It's just enough you get enough to say, okay, I see how that's working. But you don't care if it goes one way or the other. And one thing I really like is that it is so character focused. And I mean that in the literal sense and in the like broad term of a person's character, because the president tries so hard to avoid a character fight. It's like he's afraid of it. In his fight with AJ, he asks, would we have won if his wife hadn't died? If it had become a character fight, would we have won? He said, I don't know. And this whole him dating someone has erupted the whole like National Enquirer part of the press where they just want to know about the girl.
I mean, and wouldn't we?
Yeah.
That's the sad part, is that might be the most realistic part. Is that of course the press would have all those questions, and then what makes his opponent in the upcoming election formidable is that he is willing to go after character alone.
Yeah, who, Dick Cheney?
So it's like, it's what I said. He even looked like him.
I feel like it
could have been based on him at that point.
If it's not supposed to be, not supposed to imply Richard Dreyfuss' character, Rumson. If it's not supposed to be an implication of Dick Cheney, I don't know. It's the wildest coincidence I've ever seen.
It's funny you mention that because, like, in the movie W, which came out in 2008,
yeah,
Richard Dreyfuss plays Dick Cheney.
It's all connected.
I've been working on it for years.
It's all connected. It goes all the way to the top, drain the swamp. No, what bothered me about this movie is how weirdly timeless it feels. I mean, this came out in 94. Here we are in 2020 still talking about global warming and assault rifles, whether or not they're safe or not. The things that they put into this are so timely. And then you even magnify it to the current political race where you have a president who is trying to be like, hey, here's what we should be doing about the country, and my life isn't my own life. It's not bothering anybody. Leave me alone. Let's just be rational about this. To another guy who's just like, no, let's focus on the things that don't matter at all. He's dating. Like, all of that is so 100% what's happening right now that it was just weird to see it that way. 94.
Let me ask you guys though. So let me ask if extract current day character personalities from this though. I want you to think about it. Would you, as a voter, feel comfortable with the president dating not just anybody but a lobbyist? Say it's a Republican president, he's dating a lobbyist for the NRA.
I don't care.
Comfortable? Say,
Well, they're going to be friendly with each other.
Is there an element there if it feels like a conflict of interest?
Personally, I tend to think no, and it's going to come from a cynical point of view, which is kind of what I think Garrett was alluding to. Is that like I don't think it would really influence them either way
No,
because
it shouldn't.
we're at a point now where like a lot of these groups are so in the pocket of these parties and vice versa that like I don't know that it would matter.
Nobody would care.
Fair enough. I
don't know that it would.
I thought
They
it was,
would care
I
more
was-
about the fact that they're dating than the implication. Because as soon as you get into this could possibly be corrupt for a legitimate reason, then nobody cares.
I think
It's
it would
like-
be more interesting if it were the opposite and say like, you know, if like a Democrat president were dating someone with the NRA and then they started like loosening gun regulations or something, or if I don't know what's the opposite. If a Republican president were doing it, were like I don't know, was dating
Planned
someone from
Parenthood.
Planned Parenthood,
yeah,
and they were like, yeah, I like
of,
like you know,
from PETA.
if it were opposing viewpoints, it might
Yeah.
then it might be interesting.
Well, yeah, it would be interesting in that sense. I do think that I guess you have to. That is an element of looking at the times, though. Too is that if it were a case of you're talking about the 1990s when things were, I'm not going to say that they were better, but I think that there was kind of like, I think that stuff still mattered a little bit in what you could bring up. But today, I mean, honestly, today I feel like we've been numbed to a lot of controversy. I feel like
Definitely.
the president dating
Yeah.
someone would be like,
Well, like think about it.
Ain't
This
think
movie
it's
came
wrong.
out. This movie came out just years before the whole Monica Lewinsky scandal.
Mm.
And previously, I mean, I don't know. I'm not fully aware of the entire history of the presidents, but outside of like JFK, how many presidents between like him and Clinton were people like super obsessed with the personal lives of the president?
I don't know.
I don't
I don't
either.
know
I
either.
just don't.
I don't
You don't
know,
hear a
and-
lot
and-
about it.
And I mean, they reference that in this movie where they talk about, how big of an impact television had on that. So just imagine the impact that the
Mhm.
internet has had on that. As
That'd be
it- as it's
torture.
grown.
Be
Oh yeah,
absolutely torture.
it'd be awful.
Yeah, it would be just like I made a joke that it would be like The Bachelor. People would just be disgusting about whatever the president was doing if he were out there dating, trying to be a human person, trying to find somebody that he could love and bring into the White House as first lady. Like, oh my God, that'd be terrible for everyone involved.
Well, and we have such an obsession with celebrity and influence
Yeah.
in this country anyway that it would be really like, I mean, the cynicalness of it would be extreme, but also like, is that person like, is that person going to end up being like a security risk if they're not like, at a certain level? I don't know. It's an interesting what if, and I feel like it was better explored in 1995 than it would be
Yeah,
today.
it would. It's hard to see a movie like this being received as well or a success really at all if it came out today, because people would go into it cynical.
Yeah.
First of
Did
all,
you see what they tweeted about
well,
you?
like,
Oh.
today, half of the audience would hate it based on whatever party the president is. They would just hate it right away.
And I'll be honest, I couldn't tell exactly what he was at first. I couldn't tell if he was like, he just seemed moderate
Yeah.
more than anything. Cause I was like, I can't tell if he's making concessions, which way he's making concessions.
Well,
Yeah.
like even
It became obvious later, but
it becomes obvious when especially when you find out that the opponent is a Republican, but it really doesn't even become obvious how liberal he is until at the end when he's like, I'm going to get the guns.
yeah, he's like, I'm coming door to door. I was like, my God,
Yeah,
I can't imagine a president with like they actively work against promising that kind of stuff these days.
Right. Like he still maintained some like moderacy up until that point even.
Yeah.
It was funny.
I do want to point out that, with Rob Reiner. I want to give a little bit of credit to Rob Reiner right now because
Let's give a lot of credit to
All
Rob
the credit
Reiner.
to Robbie Rowe.
because
Great director.
I think Aaron Sorkin gets a lot of credit for this, but we should talk about Rob Reiner.
Of course.
I mean, we should because
the rom-com king.
he's the rom-com king, but he's
When
also
Harry Met Sally.
he didn't do that.
Did he not do that?
No.
Oh no. I'm sorry. He
Okay.
was in When Harry Met Sally.
Yeah.
He
But
did not direct it.
but like he's done so many good movies in the 80s and 90s that it's kind of criminal that he's not like a more prolific director because he did Stand By Me, he did The Princess Bride, he did this movie, and he
Also, no, he did direct When Harry Met Sally.
Yeah, he did.
Did he?
He did.
He did.
I'm sorry,
did.
I thought it was Nora Ephron.
Nora
No, she
Ephron did
she
write it.
Oh, then I'm an idiot. I'm sorry.
Well,
Wow, that was a drastic jump there,
Yeah,
bud.
you
You didn't have to
really-
go from nothing to something like that.
you really
Gee.
threw yourself over the edge there.
Well,
You just didn't know.
Pick yourself up.
That's
buddy.
it.
Don't be so hard on yourself.
Yeah, wow, that took a turn. Do we need to have a talk?
You idiot.
well,
Yeah, you are an idiot.
oh well.
Continue.
Anyway, I'm glad we got that out of the way.
But no, that's just what I wanted to say.
You're talking
is that,
about
like,
Rob Reiner's filmography. What's going on there?
a few good men.
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
literally. Okay, when starting from Stand By Me, going up to the American President, almost every one of those movies are like back to back to back, like classic 80s 90s movies, except for the movie North, which was notoriously bad.
Everybody's got one,
Yeah,
at least.
I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, Andrew. Are you saying that you don't feel like Rob Reiner is considered a prolific director? Because I think you make the argument he is. He just hasn't had anything major in the last 10 years.
he
Yeah.
really hasn't. Like, I know some of these movies that I'm seeing because I'm looking at it right now. Like, I know The Bucket List. And
I
know
think you could
River-
make the argument that he was fairly prolific.
Yeah,
For a
and now
time.
he's not. Like, I don't know what happened, but maybe he just turned his attention somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean, he's older now. He's probably working on other stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, he did Ed TV. That's a great movie.
I
he
liked
was.
it.
Let's see. Yeah. Oh, he did This Is Spinal Tap. That was his first movie.
Yeah.
Yes. This is Spinal
Which
Tap.
is-
Stand By Me. Princess
what are we
Bride. When Harry
talking
Met
about?
Sally.
Did he
Misery.
direct The Wolf of Wall Street?
No,
No.
that's Martin Scorsese.
What did he have to do with that? Why is
He
it
was
listed
in it.
here on
He
his
was in it.
IMDb?
He was an
in it.
actor in it.
Oh, he's just an actor in it. All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, you gotta filter that stuff by director.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
No,
Yeah,
I
he's
just
great.
want to give
Ron Howard directed
credit
it.
where it's due when it
Well,
comes
I just
to
read that all wrong.
when it comes to Rob Reiner, because Rob Reiner is like for a while he was directing like very, very good movies, and then all of a sudden just kind of just went not awry, but just kind of went gone, And I really do wish he would kind of maybe have like one more up his sleeve, but who knows? But at the same time, no, this was just like a solid effort. I will say, I've said that before, but I'll say it again because like you've
A
got
solid effort comes
What are you
across as
talking
a
about?
failure, though.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
no,
make it sound like it's not good. Like a solid effort is
Like, because
nice
that sounds
try,
like
kiddo. You threw the ball right into the dirt 2 feet in front of you, but nice try.
But you
It
threw
was
it
a
hard.
solid effort. It was a
solid effort.
You threw it as hard as you could.
Yeah.
okay. Then this was a very solid movie. How about
Okay.
that?
I
Okay.
like it. That's good. That's
All
good.
right, it's a very solid movie. I didn't find a whole lot wrong with this. I didn't find anything wrong with this, to be honest with you. I really can't pick and choose. I really can't say anything was wrong with this movie, except for the
Yeah.
fact that it's just there are times when I don't understand, like when they're talking about policy.
Mhm.
But that's just I'm not into politics, so I can't say I'm like, all right, well, you know what, that's important, cool.
But Andrew,
So-
did you find anything wrong with this movie?
Not really.
Okay.
And the bit you keep saying that you don't find anything wrong with it, but it's just a solid effort. I can't say anything bad about it.
It's
It
so
was a solid
good.
effort.
Solid effort.
5 stars.
2.5. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh goodness gracious!
He'll be a solid effort, but he'll give it 4.5 stars. It'll be confusing like that.
I wanted
I
to talk
quit.
about Michael
I
Douglas
quit.
real quick.
I
Michael-
quit.
Is Michael Douglas
Michael
underrated?
Is
Do
he
we think
underrated?
he's-
No.
Because listen, I know everybody knows that Michael Douglas is a good actor, and I'm not questioning whether or not people think he's underrated by his quality. I just mean look at what this man can do. I know him best from the game, and in the game, he is a paranoid, powerful, money hungry. He's always kind of like a business guy in whatever he's doing. But I mean, he is not overly redeeming in the game, but he's also like creepily charming for the situation. And then you have this one where he's still, again, a very dignified kind of a person, but a completely different person than what I get in the game. He's super charming and witty and funny, and he's able to do so many things throughout his filmography.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder if his range goes underappreciated, maybe not him himself.
There are literally dozens of us who have seen him in The Kaminsky Method, his Golden Globe winning Netflix comedy. And he's quite good still today.
No, I think he's fairly well respected as an actor. I think he's just one of those actors that, like, I think until very recently, never really danced with what you would call the mainstream. He's not like, he's not The Rock. He's not like who's someone who's really mainstream but isn't.
Hey, this man's in the MCU. What are we talking about?
Well, that's what I mean. Is until very recently, there are definitely people who think that like his best role is Ant-Man, and that would be silly to say.
That would be silly.
Very entertaining, but like if you look at his filmography, it's just really good, solid like films, like as Martin Scorsese might say, real cinema. Whether it's Wall Street, and Garrett mentions The Game, Wonder Boys. I think a lot of people really like.
I would say that if there's
Ghosts
any
of Girlfriend's
role,
Past, my goodness.
Oh my god.
Matthew McConaughey, I think, was the guy I was looking for. Somebody who's very mainstream, but also has like respect as like a very like good serious actor. That was who I was looking for as a good comparison.
If there's one movie I will say that I would encourage you all to watch is the movie Falling Down. And it stars him in it. He's like a defense worker, gets laid off, and he just goes just completely nuts throughout the entire movie. And it is an excellent film, and it's a very sharp commentary. So I would definitely give that a look. But no, I liked what Garrett said about The Game. I think The Game is like true. I've always some of the roles that I've seen Michael Douglas in, I've always seen him as this brooding character, as just a very because I think it's the voice, like because he has that very deep.
He could be Old Man Batman.
He could be Old Man Batman.
It's so groveling.
Yeah.
Yeah. He had gravitas. Yeah.
And I don't think he's done a lot of outside Wall Street in the MCU. I don't think he's done like a whole lot of sequels. So his name by itself gathers an audience. Mm-hmm. So I would say that like his work as an actor is very, very plentiful and very, very good. And he's able to be very solid in what he does.
Effort.
Another one I would recommend is Behind the Candelabra with him, where he played Liberace.
Yeah.
That was a really fascinating role to see him in. I didn't get to watch all of that, but I watched a little bit of it, and I was basically all I saw was stuff with him, and it was really good.
Yeah.
So he's a. I don't even know how, like, you can't really rank these things, but he's definitely like one of the best actors I think around. And maybe you're right. Maybe he doesn't get enough mainstream attention, but he's always one performance away from like an Academy Award.
True.
And yet he's only won the one as an actor.
It's true.
For what?
For Hank Pym?
Wall Street.
Yeah. He won a second one for producing One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. But he's only won the one Academy Award as an actor.
I think he's only been nominated for that one as an actor.
Possibly. Oh, you know what? I went through and found all those Golden Globe information we were looking for, and then I went and closed the damn thing.
Way to go, Chief.
For the other things, it was.
I can find it fast now. Hang on. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so the American president at the 53rd Golden Globe Awards held January 21st, 1996.
5 still.
Yeah. The American President was nominated for Best Motion Picture, Musical, or Comedy, but ultimately lost to Babe.
Meh.
Of course.
But you
That
know
was
what
nominated
else?
for Best Picture.
Here's the thing.
the
Babe also
Oscars.
beat Toy Story.
Wow.
Get Shorty and Sabrina were also nominated. Michael Douglas was nominated for Best Performance in a Motion Picture, Musical, or Comedy, but lost to John Travolta in Get Shorty. Other nominees include Harrison Ford, Steve Martin, and Patrick Swayze. Annette Bening was nominated for Best Actress. She lost to Nicole Kidman in To Die For. Sandra Bullock, Toni Collette, and Vanessa Redgrave were also nominated. And we got Rob Reiner, Best Director, but lost to Mel Gibson for Braveheart.
For Braveheart, yeah.
Best Screenplay lost to Sense and Sensibility, written by Emma Thompson. And I think that's it. Yeah. But The American President was the second most nominated title that year, but took home nothing. Complete shutout.
At the Globes?
Wow.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
It's always a shame when you see that, when you see something get
I know.
nominated for a lot of things and get none of it.
Yeah.
I know. Well, let's see. Sense and Sensibility was the most nominated with 6, but only took home 2. It's wild.
Indeed.
Yeah, you want to talk about a throwback, the TV section of this award show.
Oh boy.
You got Sybil won the best comedy show. Anyone even know what that is?
Yeah.
Sybil?
Sybil
Never heard
That's
of
the
it.
one with Sybil Shepherd.
Yeah.
Well, it beat out Frasier, Friends, Mad About You, and Seinfeld.
Wow. It was a good show from what I remember. A lot of people talk about it.
What are some other fun ones on here? Kelsey Grammer beat out Tim Allen, Paul Reiser, Jerry Seinfeld, and Gary Shandling for best lead
Wow.
actor. These are fun. These shows are so old.
You know what's funny though about what you just read off there for the best series is that I think every other show you said I see in syndication all the time, and I've never once seen Civil in
No.
syndication.
No.
No knock against it, but I've never
No.
Frasier, Friends, Seinfeld, all those things are still running.
Well, and the best drama was Party of Five.
Wow.
Wow.
Nominated against Chicago, Hope, ER, Murder One, and NYPD Blue.
2 years later, Jennifer Love Hewitt would be in our Halloween movie, I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Yeah. It's fun to look back on these. I'm going to have to compare them to the Emmy Awards for that year later.
I'm going to ask you guys one quick question here about the American President.
Okay.
And this is something that I realized as I was writing up my review. Do you feel like it's kind of mistitled? I
Yeah.
feel like the American President really tells you nothing about what the story is actually about, which is
It doesn't tell you the
No.
story, but it,
I would agree.
I
like the
don't
American
know.
President could sound like a generic movie about the president. And this is like very specifically the president.
But maybe that's what they wanted, because I feel like they could have been like the Bachelor president, and that would have been like,
It would have been a
Or-
picture of Michael Douglas on the front with like his coat over his shoulder, smiling.
hey, going out the Oval Office.
Yeah, the Bachelor president.
Yeah, there's a rubber band around the Oval Office doorknob.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or something
And
like
Michael
that.
J. Fox is in the background with a bunch of papers.
Hey man, come on.
Yeah, it could have gone that way.
No, yeah, but that's just kind of as I was writing, I was like, the American President sounds like it should be the movie that's like the definitive, the president movie. But this is clearly a very like, I don't know, it's a rom-com. Yeah, I don't know what I would title it instead, but I was just as I was writing it, I just kind of thought, if going into this, if you had no marketing evidence, no information, you go and go, this whole.
I
movie
think
of
you
the
might be
president trying to
surprised.
pick up-
Yeah, I
pick
could
up
see
Annette
that.
Bening.
Yeah.
The other thing I'm going to talk about real quick, I wouldn't call this a flaw, but I feel like the movie cuts kind of cuts through some detail here. Did anybody feel like the president went from 0 to 10 really quickly on this getting in a relationship situation?
He did go very fast, and he was very
Because-
confident.
Because
Yeah,
he went
he had a
from
lot of
everything's
confidence.
hunky dory to his his PR person saying, "Hey, I'll just keep running you out there as a widower."
Yeah.
And he was like, And then like 8 seconds later, he's like, "So baby,
Right.
come here often to the White
You
House."
ever seen the China
Right.
room?
Yeah, I mean, he's just like,
Or as I like to call it, the dish room?
and based on walking into a conversation and this girl, and like he's just like, "Hey, you first woman I've seen today that I didn't
Well-
previously know." You're
Well, and
the
I think
one."
that's where, for me, it all goes back to that this is an idealistic, perfect world.
It's the
scenario
rom-com is how it always
where-
works.
Yeah,
I
that's-
know, but
it's
I'm
just
just-
going to be that, and that's
It's love
fine.
at first sight. It's love at first sight.
for
But
him.
because it's so shrouded in reality. Again, going back to even the things that they're talking about and just the nature of politics today, I think that stuff is really magnified for some reason. Where it's like, oh,
Yeah, well, he even says he's gonna get in an old Chevy and drive himself to her house and stand outside her door until she opens it. Literally, just say anything
with a
without the
boombox on
boombox.
his shoulders.
yeah.
Like he's just here to fight for his love,
Yeah.
and
Aw.
that's not very realistic. But you know what? Sometimes that makes people feel good.
I mean, I like again, they pull it off with all because of how charming all the characters really are. But I was it did kind of catch me where it was like he was kind of like feeling away about it for like 13 minutes, and then was just like, "You first woman that I don't know. How you feel about dinner?"
Well, and she handled it so perfectly because, like I was saying, if it were me, if it was a woman president, right, and she took a liking to me, which I understand, and invited me, our first date is some dinner for the French president, I'd be like, I can't do this. And she was like, no, cool, let's do it.
Yeah.
I couldn't even imagine that.
Annette Bening was like,
She was great.
This is kind of a hard, like, this is sort of there's no comparable thing to, like, if you're an actor and, like, you're trying to draw from experience, like, there is no experience for the leader of the free world just ask me on a date. And she's appropriately starstruck for, like, the first half of this movie, like, not understand, like really not being able to handle, like, oh my, I can't believe this is happening to me. And I kind of was like, yeah, that's how you would be. You would not, like, there would be no, like, him being like, are you ever going to see me as not the president? I was like, no, You're the president.
Yeah.
How could I? Weird.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, shall we move on to the box office?
Yeah, let's move on to the box
Let's do it.
office
Let's
stats.
do
So the
it.
American President debuted the weekend of November 17th, way back in 1995, so not an election year. It didn't finish high that weekend. It finished in the number 3 spot with $10 million even on its opening week. The number 1 spot went to James Bond, GoldenEye. It's just called GoldenEye, but in case you weren't aware, that's a James Bond. Number 2, boy, oh boy, recommend that if you are new to the So Many Sequels game, you go back, way back to the early days for the number 2 movie of this weekend. It's Ace Ventura: When Nature Calls.
Oh.
The aforementioned.
Which you can find if you dig all the way back to the first season of So Many Sequels.
Yep, I think it's the second show y'all did.
It is the
series.
second episode we ever did.
And you guys, boy, what a come down between 1 and 2.
Actually, you know what? Don't go listen to that. It's probably bad.
As
It's
I
probably not
remember,
good.
we did not have a good time talking about it.
The audio maybe I think is maybe okay, but
We were
definitely,
probably
like,
rusty.
We didn't know what we were doing.
It was really eye opening because I had not watched Ace Ventura in a long time, and you guys were like, "Boy, this is not held up." Either of them really, but more so with When Nature Calls.
Poo.
So that at 19.5. And I have the aforementioned American President in the number 3 spot. At number 4, It Takes Two.
To make a thing go right.
The hit sequel to the movie It Takes.
One.
I'm kidding. It's actually a Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen movie.
Yeah.
Opened up at number 4.
The good old days of Olsen twin movies.
With 5.5. Those don't happen anymore.
No,
And
they
at number
quit that
5,
life.
the movie Josh was talking about, Get Shorty, which had some award buzz.
Golden Globe winner John Travolta.
So one sequel in the top 10 that weekend. The American President would go on to finish with $60 million in the United States over its theatrical run. It would add $47.8 million from other markets. and which would bring its worldwide total to $107.8 million, which beat its quite large for a production of this scale, I would think, $62 million budget.
It all went to Michael Douglas.
Wow.
I would think a lot of it would go to the cast, sure, but I think probably a lot of it went to the set construction for a pretty accurate recreation of the Oval Office and other wings of the White House. This is actually, I know I don't do the inside baseball stuff as much anymore, but I was too curious, and it is election season. The American President is the 13th highest grossing movie to be about or star a character playing the president. The number one movie in that category is Independence Day. Number two.
I was hoping it wasn't, but that's where my brain first went.
Yeah, number two, the highest grossing one with somebody playing an actual president is Lincoln, brought in by Steven Spielberg, bringing in $182 million. Also on that list, you have Air Force One, Fahrenheit 9/11 by Michael Moore, Lee Daniels, the butler, and so on and so on. So just kind of an interesting detail there. Let's see what else. The American President would go on to finish in the number 29 spot for the year of 1995 on the domestic charts. Where do I have that? Here we go. The number one movie, as you may have guessed, is 1995's Toy Story. We reviewed that just last year. Go check out our Toy Story series review. One of my favorite series we've actually covered the whole time. At number two, 1995, Batman Forever. At number three, Apollo 13. At number four, Disney's Pocahontas. And at number five, the aforementioned Ace Ventura, When Nature Calls. So I had a fun game that I worked out here for some other honorable mentions. Garrett, put up 5 fingers here. I'm gonna list off 5 movies here, and Garrett, you just we'll just see if they are your. We'll see how many fingers you have left. You put a finger down if you do not stand this. If you stand this movie, okay.
If I like it, I put a finger down.
If you like it, if it's like a movie you would watch right now, if someone asks you, you put a finger down. All right. First, a Goofy movie. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Oh, yeah.
The Indian in the Cupboard.
Oh, yeah.
The Brady Bunch movie.
That'll get a half finger.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, right.
He wasn't prepared for half finger.
And Billy Madison.
Oh, yeah.
So, boom. I know Garrett. As I was going through, I was like, that's a Garrett movie. That's a Garrett movie. And I said, wow, 1995 was Garrett's year.
That's it literally influenced who I am today.
Some other good honorable mentions: Jumanji, Seven, Waterworld.
I can't go negative fingers.
Waterworld was not good.
I'd watch it again.
You get out.
I'd try it again.
Waterworld is terrible.
Ready for this one? The first movie to feature a CGI character as a lead character. It's Casper.
No, I'd watch that too right now, in a heartbeat.
And
That's a good Halloween movie.
And of course, who could forget? Garrett, get ready to put your whole fist in the ground. Mortal Kombat.
Oh my God, that's the best movie in the world.
And
yeah, 95 is me.
Here's one for Josh: Grumpier Old Men.
That's a good movie.
Yeah, I know. I knew Josh would get at least grin. I knew you would at least grin about it. I know you like Grumpy Old Men 1.
Yeah, they're so grumpy.
That's one of the first things. Okay, I'm going to sidetrack. This is off box office now. But I remember one of the first. I mean, Josh and I have been friends for a long time. One of the first real hearty laughs I ever got with Josh. Josh, do you remember this?
I don't know what you're gonna say.
So we were hanging out with my wife. At that time my previous girlfriend. And
previous. Yeah.
And a good friend of ours named Coulter. And we were at, I don't really remember, it might have been like a diner in town or something like that. And we were making we were having some kind of conversation. And I think Coulter said something like,
Josh said, what I'm saying is we're going to be doing this again.
Oh, yeah. I think it was Coulter. No, because I think Josh then said.
No, because Coulter was the one who said it back.
Oh, I don't remember. Anyway, I'm pretty positive it was Josh who said, you got a mouse in your pocket?
No, it was Coulter
Did Coulter say that?
Reacted to.
Okay. I don't know.
What's happening? So wait, what happened though?
Someone used the phrase, you got a mouse in your pocket. And it was like a reference to Grumpy Old Men, and Josh laughed really hard.
Josh said, what I'm saying is we're going to do this again in the future. And Coulter said, you got a mouse in your pocket?
Oh, yeah. And Josh just went.
Looked at him like,
What if I did? That's what you said.
Josh, well, what if I did?
You feel pretty stupid right now. It was a very Josh thing to say.
And the rest is history.
Well, I should have written that story. I should have consulted with my court stenographer about that story before I read it out.
Now you know
Anyhow,
it for future reference.
Grumpier Old Men, that came out that year. Andrew, Best Picture winner of 1995.
Braveheart.
Braveheart. That's right. Everybody do their best Scottish accent.
No.
Oh, Sean Connery.
I was gonna bring him up.
Recently,
I don't even want to do the impression. I'm too sad.
Sean
Yeah.
Connery.
Yeah.
Do a
Pour one
dramatic
out.
impression instead.
Sean Connery. One of the
right.
great James Bonds.
Never seen it.
I know we're gonna have to do his series at some point. I think.
Eventually. I do
Well,
want
guys,
We're
to.
gonna get to do.
I do have a quick question to pose to the group before we move on to the letterbox game that occurred to me. You're just gonna have to like pull from memory, but like, who is the best fictional president from a movie universe? We'll keep TV out of this. And is everyone
man.
gonna say Bill Pullman? Because I hope not.
No,
I just hope
don't
there's
think-
some diversity. He's great. He seems
Oh.
like a great president. He beat the aliens, but I mean, come on.
That's a tough question.
I don't think I'm gonna say Bill Pullman. I mean, I think that Bill Pullman was very. I think Independence Day is a lot of fun. But
I'll tell you who I'm leaning toward
it's
for
hard to
pure
not
fun
say.
factor.
Oh, go ahead.
Harrison Ford in
Yes.
Air Force One.
Oh,
Yeah, that was what I was gonna say. It's hard not to lean towards. What was his name? President
I
Marshall.
don't even remember his name.
Yeah. James Marshall.
Is that it? President Marshall? I thought so. I'm trying to think of anybody other than Independence Day and Air Force One.
That's a tough question.
You got anybody?
You know, I'm going through a list here of like, because I can't really think of anything. The only one that really jumps out to me as being different is Chris Rock and Head of State.
yeah.
And while I love that movie, I don't necessarily recommend it. But I mean, he was a good president.
I can think of one that I really, really liked. He was in the movie Idiocracy, and he was played by Terry Crews.
President Camacho.
President Camacho.
That's it.
Stop
That's
it. That's ridiculous.
Oh,
Okay.
You know who? Because I'm now looking through a list too, because I couldn't help myself. What about Jack Nicholson in Mars Attacks?
Oh, he's great.
He's not the best, but what a memorable performance.
solid effort.
And Mars together. Anyway,
looks like the Atlantic did a bracket system a few years ago, and they did include TV, but the winner of the best fictional president bracket was Harrison Ford in Air Force One, who was up against Martin Sheen from The West Wing.
Mm.
The final four was President Bartlett from The West Wing, President Camacho from Idiocracy, President Marshall from Air Force One, and whatever Bill Pullman's name was in Independence Day.
what was his character's name?
President.
President killed the
Ralphie.
aliens.
President
President
anyway,
Bill
Must be
Pullman.
Polish.
Yeah, Bill Pullman. We're going too long, so let's get to the letterbox game.
Yeah. I think Josh, you're running it this week.
Oh snap! Okay,
You won The Conjuring last week.
that's true. That's true.
David, what's the order? Who's going? Worst to first.
Oh, where's the first was going to be Andrew. Andrew has not successfully won a game since the Muppet movie.
Wow.
Good God.
You got to do better.
I am
You
trying.
got a full
Garrett's last
spectrum
win
to
was
work
the
with.
thing.
So, well, that means Andrew, you're going first. What's your
So
pick?
my rating is going to be
You
3.4.
You're guessing
That's-
a 3.4.
Okay, we got a 3.4.
Is it me?
Who's next?
Yes, you next.
3.5.
3.5 from Garrett.
3.5. 3.435. 3.435.
I'm just going to screw it all up and go 3.3. That way, I think we'll have a winner, but I have a tiebreaker in mind if it comes to it. So
Oh, there's a winner, all right, and we will
Okay.
not need a tiebreaker.
Sweet.
And it is really really a shame for Andrew because he almost won this one.
man.
But the
man.
correct answer is 3.3, and that goes to David.
Oh,
Um,
David.
So close to taking that one home. I really thought he had it. So Andrew's still in
Listen,
now in a further last place.
I have decided that I'm not going to win. It's going to be Josh or David. My only goal is to be a perpetual blocker of Andrew winning now.
Yeah, you just got to spoil somebody.
I'm going to be the spoiler.
Yeah, so
I don't want him to win another one all season.
The final score was 3.3 based on 10,000 ratings. The most common score is a solid 3. 29% of people gave it a 3. So what would we give it individually?
I'd give it it's a 4 stars. 4-star movie.
We got a 4.
I was going to say the same, actually. I think I'm kind of, I might be being a little bit generous here. I don't know, but I would say a 4-star movie. I'd watch this again if it was on.
Okay.
Yeah, I concur. 4 stars for me.
We got 3 stars. Well, then since it doesn't matter, I'm gonna bump it up to a 4.5. Just because I liked it that much. But our final score is gonna be a 4.1, so a 4.
Awesome. All right.
So that's it. That is our Election Day special. As of this being released, tomorrow is Election Day. So go do your thing. Go vote for whatever you want to vote for.
Hey, but just as important as going out and voting, okay, this doesn't get talked about enough, but do your research. Know what exactly it is you're voting for.
You should do your
There's
research.
more than just the presidential election going on.
So much more.
I don't know if every state will have them necessarily, but read up on your state questions. Read up on your local districts. Find out who it is.
And read up on your judges. Nobody thinks of judges until you get there, and you're like, I don't know who these people are. I don't know what their belief
I have a
systems
standing
are.
rule. This isn't necessarily unethical, but I have a standard rule. I always vote no on retaining judges. Just get them out. Hey. I don't care. I don't remember who it was who told me to do that, but they said it one time, and I don't know if they were joking or not. But I thought that's fine. What a policy to live by. But yeah, do your research, vote. Be aware of what's going on.
Yeah, I think that is smart for everyone. Be engaged. Elections, like David said, are not just the president. In fact, the smaller the election is, the more likely it actually affects you. People don't think about that. So do that. Go vote. Have fun with it. It doesn't have to be stressful. Find us online on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Letterboxd. So many sequels. We're there. We're having fun with it. We'll be back next week with something fun and new. Not new, but it's fun that we're planning. And we will announce it on our social media channels later this week. So follow us on those to figure out what we're doing next. Here's a hint. It's an anniversary. It's an anniversary. It's a series.
Why
and it's
are you
a trilogy.
being a demon into the microphone?
Don't do that.
Yeah.
All right, I won't.
So that's all for us. Have a nice, fun, stress-free week.
And go vote.
Go vote.
Go vote.